In episode 1, we meet Percy, the protagonist, who is 12 years old. It has come to light that Percy is having difficulty concentrating in class due to his propensity for daydreaming and, more recently, his encounters with supernatural creatures. Throughout his upbringing, Percy's mother has instilled in him a deep appreciation for Greek mythology. Percy has to visit his counselor at school on a regular basis because of his visions. That said, his counselor believes these to be imaginary. The sole friend Percy has at school, Grover, is also introduced to us. Since they are both reserved and ridiculed at school for being different, they get along well. As part of his school trip, Percy and his classmates go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. A bully is picking on Grover while they're on the trip. As a consequence of his untapped magical abilities, Percy ends up pushing the girl into a fountain as he tries to help her. A supernatural woman named Mrs. Dodds also attacks him. He quickly realizes that he is the only person who can see the woman. Additionally, Percy has also been having visions of a minotaur. However, he concludes that it's only his imagination and brushes it off. Following this, on the basis that he assaulted another student, Percy is expelled from Yancey Academy. Mr. Brunner, Percy's teacher, has an inkling of his abilities and cautions him that his path will not be easy. In Manhattan, Percy pays a visit to his stepfather and mother. It is clear from their encounters that Percy and his stepfather, Gabe, have a rocky relationship. Not long after that, Sally, Percy's mom, proposes that they visit their Montauk cabin. On reaching the cabin, Sally tells Percy about him being half-blood. Additionally, she tells him that the tales she told him about Greek mythology are factual. She proceeds by telling him that she had an affair with his father at the cabin, who is a god, which makes Percy a demigod. At first, Percy has a hard time believing his mother. However, his friend Grover shows up, and he's visibly a goat from the waist down at this point. After introducing himself as a satyr, Grover proceeds by claiming that he has been given the duty of guarding Percy. Additionally, he informs him that they must proceed to the camp to ensure Percy's safety. On the way to the camp, a minotaur relentlessly follows and attacks Sally's car. In the end, Sally sacrifices herself to save Percy. Following this, Percy fights the minotaur and manages to kill him. Once Percy reaches the camp, the situation changes. Here, he gains consciousness, and Chiron welcomes him, saying that they've been expecting him. Chiron provides Percy with an overview of camp life. He tells him that he has to wait for his father to claim him as his son. Percy is instructed to stay at the camp of the unclaimed demigods with Hermes' children until that time comes. While at Hermes' camp, Percy befriends Luke, who treats him with the utmost kindness. Luke graciously offers to help Percy discover his strengths. As he is being escorted around Camp Half-Blood by Luke, Percy begins learning more about the world he is now a part of. Luke tells Percy of one of the most consequential elements of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the forbidden children of the Big Three gods. The so-called Big Three of the Greek pantheon are Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, the three most powerful gods. Given their power, the gods realized that their children were becoming far too powerful for mortals and collectively vowed to stop siring children with humans. However, the gods rarely stick to their word, meaning a few children have still been born to the Big Three over the years. These children are now known as forbidden, something Percy learns swiftly about. Later Annabeth reveals that she has been following Percy, watching him for signs that he could be the one. When Percy asks Luke about this, the latter reveals that Annabeth is fated to go on an adventure with a demigod whose power is unavoidable by the gods. As such, Annabeth watches every new half-blood who comes to camp, though normally gives up after a few days. With Percy though, Annabeth continuously watches him, hinting at a big quest on the horizon for Percy and his new friend/enemy. Scene shifts to a game of Capture the Flag in which Percy battles against Clarice and her siblings, the children of Ares. Percy's previous run-in with Clarice causes her to desire revenge against him, thus targeting him in Capture the Flag. Percy fends off the Ares kid's attack, showing an aptitude for swordsmanship that he was not aware of beforehand. Percy and Clarice's battle is interrupted by Luke, who has captured Clarice's flag and won the game for Percy's team. After this battle, Annabeth appears and reveals that she was watching Percy using her cap of invisibility. Annabeth has a hunch that Percy is the half-blood fated to go on a quest with her due to Percy's water-based powers. To confirm her theory, she pushes Percy into the lake and watches as the water heals his wounds. After this, a giant, glowing trident appears above Percy's head, revealing him as a forbidden child of the Big Three as the son of Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea. During the final moments of the episode, Chiron and Dionysus tell Percy that a war is going to break out on Mount Olympus. He proceeds by revealing that Zeus is claiming that Percy has stolen his thunderbolt. Zeus has declared war on Poseidon since Percy is Poseidon's son. Percy tells Chiron and Dionysus that he didn't steal anything. However, they explain that he has no choice but to stop the war. Given the continual power struggle between the three brothers, Chiron and Dionysus tell Percy that Hades, the god of the underworld, might have taken the thunderbolt. At first, Percy isn't willing to help Poseidon end the war. Grover tells Percy that his mother is with Hades and that she did not die the other day. Percy entering the attic of the big house at Camp Half-Blood. There, Percy encounters the Oracle of Delphi to receive a prophecy, something required by all demigods who wish to embark on a quest. The Oracle utters Percy's first-ever prophecy. The lines spoken by the Oracle led Percy to choose Annabeth and Grover as the companions for his quest. The reasons for this stem from the third line in the prophecy, "You shall be betrayed by the one who calls you friend." In an attempt to remove the possibility of him being betrayed, Percy picked Annabeth as he could never see himself being friends with her. Percy finds out what happened to Talia as they are leaving Camp Half-Blood. Percy learns that Grover helped Talia, Annabeth, and Luke during their journey to the camp. In addition, after Talia faced terrifying monsters, Zeus transformed her into a tree to honor her bravery and heroism. As a tree, Talia protects Camp Half-Blood from danger. Annabeth takes charge of the group right away as they set off on their quest. This frustrates Percy, who then attempts to sway Grover to his side. Nonetheless, Grover tries to put an end to their disputes because he dislikes confrontations. The three of them are soon subject to an attack by Furies while riding a bus. Eagerly, she demands that Annabeth give her Percy so that she can deliver him to Hades. Nevertheless, the three of them are able to evade the Furies when Annabeth refuses to betray Percy. It is said that the mysterious forest the trio is traveling through will keep the monstrous beings at a distance. They step into Medusa's garden. Medusa is a famous Gorgon from Greek mythology, a woman with snakes for hair who turns people into stone by looking at them. Medusa's somewhat tragic backstory is revealed. Medusa tells Annabeth that the former was a devoted priestess to Athena, Annabeth's mother. However, Medusa states that Poseidon, Percy's dad, was caught romancing Medusa in Athena's temple. Athena, rather than take vengeance on Poseidon for his mistreatment of Medusa, punished the priestess. Medusa naturally began to despise Poseidon and Athena for this, explaining to Percy that she felt a sense of kinship with Percy's mother as they were both used by the same monster. She offers Percy help in saving Sally if he gives up Annabeth and Grover, something he declines out of loyalty. Medusa attempts to kill them as a message to the gods that their unjust ways cannot go unpunished. This forces the trio of Percy, Annabeth, and Grover to kill Medusa, with the former cutting off her head. Following this, they use Medusa's head to turn the Fury into stone. The three friends resolve to send Medusa's head to Olympus to be sacrificed to the gods. The three of them get closer than ever after admitting they had chances to betray each other, but ultimately stayed loyal. Scene shifts to Annabeth that she was not born conventionally given Athena's status as the Greek goddess of wisdom. Rather than being born as all children are through childbirth, the offspring of Athena are genetically constructed from a thought in the goddess's brain as a gift to whomever she falls in love with. They bear the same genetic traits as their mortal parent. Annabeth reveals that this meant her early childhood was happy, as her father treated her as a gift from Athena, but Annabeth's father met another woman and sired more children, which saw her family life turn sour. This led to her running away from home to be found by Luke and Talia. Shortly after some much-needed downtime on a train, they meet another monster, Echidna and Chimera. In Greek mythology, Echidna is the mother of all monsters, with Chimera being one of her children. The two attack Percy, Annabeth, and Grover on a train, which forces the trio to flee into downtown St. Louis. It is then revealed that the St. Louis Gateway Arch is an Athenian temple, a sanctuary dedicated to Annabeth's mother, Athena. She says even monsters can't enter the space. Annabeth suggests that Percy try to communicate with his father. Percy refuses, adamant that he wants nothing from Poseidon, who he says has had his chance to be a part of his son's life. As they talk, Percy suddenly collapses, feeling the poison from the monster's sting. Annabeth and Grover take Percy to a fountain outside and splash him with water, hoping it will heal him. But, as it's not fresh, running water, it doesn't have the intended effect. Instead, they decide to head up to the top of the arch and ask Athena for help. Meanwhile, Echidna arrives at the arch with her monster, the Chimera. As they ride to the top, Grover wonders how the monster got inside the landmark unless Athena allowed it. Annabeth reveals Echidna spoke to her telepathically, telling her that her impertinence, taking part in sending Medusa's head to Olympus, wounded Athena's pride. Echidna and the Chimera, a terrifying fire-breathing hybrid of a lion and goat, arrive at the top of the arch. A pale and weak Percy decides to take on the Chimera himself, wielding his bronze sword, Riptide. Echidna uses her powers to rip a hole in the arch's floor, which Percy tumbles out of during the fight. Percy clings to a beam for dear life, 630 feet above the ground. As Echidna and the Chimera watch, he loses his grip and plunges to his death. A waterspout suddenly appears over the nearby Mississippi River and collides with Percy, who splashes down into the river. His foot stuck on the sandy bottom, Percy panics until he realizes he's not alone. A water spirit called a Nereid appears and tells Percy that Poseidon sent her. She says Poseidon wants Percy to know that he's all right and to breathe. The Nereid also tells Percy that Poseidon has been with him the whole time. She also says, trust him. Trust yourself. Just breathe, trust him. Trust yourself. Just breathe. At those words, Percy inhales deeply, realizing for the first time that he has the power to breathe underwater. With that, we have come to the end of our series. If you liked the video and want a part 2, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, so you never miss out on our latest recaps. We're here to turn your movie nights into an unforgettable experience.